Let's look now at rotating objects. What we have here is a circular conference table. We have an executive chair waiting there to be rotated around our table. Now, I don't know what angle that chair is at from zero. Now, we're going to assume a zero line that goes from the center of the circle to the right here, out towards this grip here. That's 0. As we come up this way, vertically, that would be 90. Out to the left, 180 degrees, and vertically downwards, 270 degrees. Those are the default settings in AutoCAD. So let's just escape that now. And what we're going to do, we're going to rotate our chair. Now, I can click on the chair, and there are two ways I can do this. I can go to rotate here, on the modify panel here, on the ribbon, or with the object selected, I can actually just right-click, and there's rotate there on the shortcut menu. Now, I'll just hit escape there a second. I've also got a grip. You'll see this chair is a dynamic block, but I've got a grip there, an insertion point grip. So let's look at grips. If I click on that grip and start moving around, I can move the block around like so. But if I right-click and select rotate on the grip edit menu, look, I can rotate about that grip, which doesn't really help me. But if I then right-click again and go to base point, I can select the center of the table as my base point. And now, look, I can move the chair around the table, but not following the move line. Can you see that? There's my rotate move line following the crosshair there. What I need to do is right-click and specify a reference point, almost like a datum point. So the reference angle would go from the center snap of the table to an aligned point on the chair. So I'm going to go for that midpoint there on the back of the seat of the chair. So now look, my chair is aligned with my rotation line. So it's asking me for a new angle there. If I type 0 in and press enter, it rotates it exactly to the 0 line that we specified earlier. So I'll just hit escape there to deselect, and I've rotated that perfectly to 3 o'clock there on my circular conference table. If I undo that now, let's have a look at that using the rotate command instead of the grips. Same process. I select the chair like so. Now I can go to the modify panel here and select rotate there, or as before, right click, shortcut menu, rotate. As usual, with most of the modify commands, I'm prompted for a base point. That'll be the center of my table. So again, look, I'm not rotating exactly on the rotation line. So I can right click now, and instead of putting an angle in, I can select reference. Same process. The reference angle will be the center snap of the table. I'm going to go right to the midpoint there on the back of the chair, left click, and now I've got my chair rotating on my rotation line. So if I now type in the new angle of 0, like so, and press enter, I've rotated to 0. Fantastic, just like using the grips. But what I can do a rotate and a copy as well. So if I right click here, rotate again, specify a base point, center of the table, and I'll right click again now and select copy, and I'll put a rotation angle in there of 180 degrees. Not only will it rotate the original chair through 180, but it will retain the original chair as a copy as well. So I can use that copy command once I've straightened up the chair around my conference table.